All right, this is the last training module for learning how to create, design, and implement your podcasts. So the next thing that you're going to be doing, there is not an accompanying video for, and that's just the integration of the LMS. So this is the last thing to keep in mind while you're actually creating your podcast, is how to make sure that you are creating something that is accessible and compliant with the Americans with Disabilities Act and whatever in-house guidelines your institution has. So for us here at Wake Tech, we have very specific guidelines as to what we allow and expect for content that's being given to students. So at Wake Tech here, we follow the Universal Design for Learning Guidelines, and UDL really talks about building your course material from the ground up with accessibility in mind. The same way that when people construct buildings, they go ahead and put in wheelchair ramps and elevators and things like that. So if you are designing with accessibility in mind, you are inherently creating good design. So that's something that you can kind of use as a North Star in your development of your podcast. Is it accessible? So we know that doing so, the way that we make podcasts accessible and compliant with both the ADA and with our own in-house accessibility requirements is to just provide a transcript. So that's one of the appeals of podcasting, is that you only need to supply a transcript of the text that you recorded, and that makes it accessible, and everybody is able to access the material that's within your podcast. So unlike a video where you have to caption it and provide a transcript, with podcasts, you just need to have that transcript. And for convenience sake, if you do select Anchor as your software that you used for recording, if your recording is less than 3 minutes, then you will get a automatic transcript. Anchor will actually provide you with a transcript, which is really nice. But for anything longer than that, or if you're using another software, really, if you're doing appropriate pre-planning when you're developing your podcast, then you're probably already creating a script. And with the script, you can go ahead and just turn that into a text file and upload it into Blackboard as your transcript. So you just want to make sure that it's friendly for any sort of screen reader that a student with vision impairment may be using. And another thing that podcasting does, which appeals to accessibility and ADA compliance, is that it provides an additional mean of expression for students. So like we talked about with learning styles, you want to, especially for adult learners, provide them with multiple means of expression. Now that means that when you give them content, you're giving them that content in multiple forms. So it may be a lecture, a podcast, a video, something that, a text that they're reading. But it also means that you're providing multiple means of expression for the student. So that's when you can really start to think about how podcasts can be used for students as project-based learning. Give them that as an option. If you have them doing a project that they're going to be presenting, well, maybe they can make a video, maybe they can make a screencast, or maybe they can make a podcast. So it allows them to have a little bit of choice. And we know that adult learners really respond well to choice. So that's kind of just the basics here for accessibility and ADA compliance. It's just really focusing on using UDL and using and making sure you're providing a transcript for any audio that you record, and that can be uploaded right along with the audio file in the LMS, which we're going to be looking at in the next section and the final section of the training module.